Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you guys had a good lunch. My name is Marcus. Traditionally, I've done digital marketing for different niches through the years. And just a short introduction. So this is the title of today's speech. So how did I get started in digital marketing? It's quite an interesting story. I actually started running a dating advice for men's website for Singaporeans for Asian market, and I actually got featured on Channel 8. And my first thought was, how do I get customers? This was actually 10 years ago. And slowly and surely, I found out that every business has the same needs, including law firms or not. You have to find a way to generate clients. Okay? So that was how I got into digital marketing. It was actually a means to an end. So eventually, I built the company up using SEO, digital marketing, paid marketing, and I exited it during COVID. And then I joined an IMBA firm, approved firm, serving SMEs in Singapore. So I basically marketed everything from bird nests to pizzas and everything you can think of under the roof lah. Okay, and after that I joined a major banking group in Singapore as an e-commerce specialist. I've handled marketing budgets from $500 a month to $1 million per year. Okay. So I think this is quite applicable for law firms as well, because I think for law firms, you guys have different sizes from small to mid to big. So this is sort of like proof lah. Yeah, I built my website, it was registered on my name to 20,000 global readers per month, and someone approached me and I exited. Okay, so SEO and digital marketing isn't new to the legal industry, but in my opinion, it has increased opportunities. SEO is actually quite an old concept that I believe, like through my research, many legal firms are already using. But today, with AI and SOT, it has actually increased opportunities. I will actually share a personal story, how I use both AI and digital marketing in more of a legal context from a layman perspective. Okay, so traditionally, I think for the legal industry, we have two different sorts of marketing lah. Firstly, you have repetition-based customer acquisition, which is your prestigious law firms. And my value proposition today is that for small and middle firms, you don't have to compete directly with the prestigious firms. Through digital marketing and the internet, you can actually go through what we call direct-based customer acquisition, which is using digital marketing, search marketing, and social media marketing. And in my opinion, online direct marketing provides a faster, more measurable, scalable way and cost-effective way to attract clients. So if you Google around, or maybe some of you guys are the owners of law firms, you guys might have already seen or are already practicing search engine marketing, search marketing, pay-per-click, Facebook ads, so on and so forth. So here's a basic introduction to search marketing. When you Google, so this one is just to familiarize everyone lah, okay? When you put in a keyword such as divorce lawyer Singapore, the first results that you see with the sponsored tag is actually called pay-per-click Google Ads marketing. So this is where you pay Google for per click, right? It's only when someone clicks, you have to pay. Okay, moving on. Then if you scroll down some more, you will see that there is the Google Maps pack. So contrary to popular belief, this is actually optimizable as well. You can actually somewhat optimize it so that your law firm pop up when users search for keywords such as criminal lawyer Singapore and so on and so forth. Okay? So this is local SEO. Moving on, you have traditional SEO. Okay? For example, corporate lawyer Singapore, these are the results that pop up on the first page, the first 4 results. So as a law firm, how will you approach this marketing client acquisition question, right? There's so many channels, and I haven't even touched on. For example, you have YouTube marketing, you have Facebook marketing, you have podcasts. There's so many things to choose from. Okay. So why do I propose that law firms should focus on commercial keywords? I mean, for search marketing first, is because these are what I call bottom of the funnel keywords. If you are a user and you are looking for a divorce lawyer, you'll probably search divorce lawyer Singapore, best divorce lawyer, so on and so forth. And you are already somewhat having a high intent to hire out or to purchase And this is what I call commercial keywords. In search marketing, we call this commercial keywords or bottom of the funnel keywords. And this is why, as a law firm, you have to be able to suss out these keywords, and this will actually drive you somewhat of instantaneous results. I'll explain why and how. And then moving on, okay, we have informational keywords, which is from a nerdy marketing perspective, we call this longer tail keywords because they are longer. How to file for divorce in Singapore, prenuptial agreement Singapore, divorce rate in Singapore. They are more information based, where someone doesn't really have a strong intent to buy yet, but they actually have somewhat of a lukewarm intent. And through the data, we can see that there is actual search volume. So this is data pulled just a couple of weeks ago from Google Ads. It's a free tool. You guys can sign up and actually, have fun searching and researching in accordance to your specialty. There's a research volume. So all you have to do is to just put your ad and your website in front of people who are researching. Okay, that's step one. So as I've mentioned, okay, this is a reiteration of the concept that I've just said. Why not Facebook marketing and why not create podcasts or YouTube marketing? I mean, don't get me wrong, I've seen some podcasts in the legal industry and even some YouTube videos that I find very informative, and I feel it's a differentiating factor as well. But before you go there, how to get that ROI instantly? How do you get customers within the next 7 days? Or get your first 3 leads and then 1 sales conversion in the next 7 days? You guys have to just focus on bottom of funnel keywords. Family lawyer Singapore, divorce lawyer Singapore, short tail. These keywords, from a user perspective, they already have somewhat of an intent to purchase or to hire. Criminal lawyer Singapore, your clients might probably be in distress and be like, okay, I need to find a criminal lawyer now. Okay? And then of course, this is all marketing geeky stuff. We are already at the bottom of funnel conversion, and then you have consideration and awareness phase. So for the consideration phase, an example would be your longer tail keywords. How to get a divorce in Singapore, what's the divorce rate, uncontested marriage, uncontested divorce, so on and so forth. Okay? So as I've mentioned, this tool is free. You guys can just Google Ad Keyword Planner. You can sign up for a free account and you actually play around with this tool and look for the existing search demand for your law firm. Okay, so how do we put everything together, right? I've spoken about search marketing, pay-per-click, local SEO, and traditional SEO. So how do you actually dominate that space in your particular law industry? For example, you are in family law and you have specialized in divorce, so on and so forth. What I will do if I was in your position would be, firstly, I will pay to play, right? I will pay for Google Ads so that I can get my ad in front of people who are already searching, people who are already someone have high intent to purchase to get that ROI. Then I will focus on local SEO, which is a Google Maps pack, because that requires some time. And then I will focus on traditional SEO, which is your traditional results, the top 4, the top 5 results. This way, then you won't be spending 6 months wondering, okay, well, where I'm paying this vendor or this marketing agency, where my money go to, because SEO takes time. But Google Ads is mostly instantaneous. Okay? And of course, when we have done optimizing for the shorter tail keywords, for example, if you've spent $10,000 on short tail keywords in the family law industry, and you can no longer scale, then we move on to target longer tail keywords such as how to get a divorce, so on and so forth. So that's how you actually structure that strategy. And then once you've optimized and fully utilized the search marketing volume, then you can layer on other push channels such as Facebook advertising. Okay, so is it all about ads? I think many marketers and many digital marketing firms today in Singapore would just, and when I was in the networking session, I also, heard about some lawyers actually say, oh, I always focus on Google to learn the system and so on and so forth. In my professional opinion, focusing on the ad is not just enough, and many marketers and many digital marketing firms would overemphasize on the ad. What do I mean by ad is the one that you see just now, right? The sponsor and all this. That is just an ad. You need to have an end-to-end system. And what do I mean by that? When someone sees an ad, it's just a click. You're just selling the click on the ad. But when it comes to, after the click, they land on your website, right? They have to be persuaded by the content on your website. So how do you make your content persuasive? And I know that in the legal industry, there's many technicalities, and sometimes when I land on some of the law firm sites, as a layman, I would have trouble understanding. So as much as possible, what I will do is to actually explain the needs of my customers without, of course, crossing legal and ethical guidelines, and actually simplify maybe certain legal arguments or legal considerations. Alright, once we have optimized the ad, optimized the landing page, and then have a sales conversion, right? But like for example, I spend $500 this month. Okay, I get 10 leads. That's what, $50 a lead, and I make $1,000 in sales. That's a 1:2 ratio. Then you have a sales conversion ratio that you can further optimize and further increase in the weeks after and the months after. And this is why I propose that digital marketing is somewhat more effective than traditional advertising. Because if you put in a newspaper, you can't really track. But through digital marketing, every cent, every click is trackable. So by having this end-to-end process, then you will be able to scale your business infinitely. Like I've mentioned, I've handled $500 to $200,000 a month in ad budget. How do we scale? As always, we start off small. Then when we have a good ratio, then we just layer on and layer on and layer on and diversify the traffic. Okay? Okay, as I've mentioned, digital marketing is trackable. We're able to optimize and come up with $1 and $2 out, $1 in and $2 out concept. It makes growth somewhat scientific, quote unquote, data-driven and measurable. And to reiterate, the game plan would be to go pay-per-click advertising, Google Ads, for bottom funnel keywords, for immediate leads and cash flow. Figure that out, then go to local SEO with your Google Maps pack to diversify your lead source, and then you want to dominate the traditional SEO. If you are able to do all these three, I think you will be somewhat, quite market dominant from a search standpoint for your particular industry. Okay. So let me talk a little bit more about how do you make your content persuasive and consumer psychology. Because as I've mentioned, I think many digital marketers and specialists focus too much on the numbers and the ad itself, right? Oh, I want to increase this click-through rate. If I change this word, I have a 10% more click-through rate. Okay, as I mentioned, you have to take an end-to-end approach. And how do you actually figure this out is to actually, when you consult clients or speak to your existing client database, actually listen to their main concerns, the main questions that they come to you with for your particular practice. And soon you'll be able to find out a pattern and a particular language that they use. And all you have to do is to put it on your landing page, of course, in a way that doesn't intrude upon the guidelines. Okay? And then, of course, there are other methods of content, other types of content as well. Mainly, you can use words, and then you have videos and infographics. As I've mentioned, there are podcasts and there are YouTube videos that are, in my opinion, quite good, right, for laymen on YouTube, so on and so forth. Okay, of course, this one I have to cover as well. This is for Singapore's advertising guidelines. I think, especially in the legal industry, you have to be quite careful. Okay, ads must be truthful, professional, and ethical. No misleading claims such as top law firm without any evidence. No comparisons that discredit competitors. Digital ads have to comply with privacy and consumer protection laws. TV, online, and print ads must be clearly identified as advertising. What's allowed is informative websites and blogs without misleading claims, transparent pricing and fixed fee arrangements, social media content that educates rather than hard sell, ads on approved platforms such as Google and Meta. What's not allowed is, as I mentioned, false or unverifiable claims, such as best lawyer Singapore. How do you prove that? Testimonials that create unrealistic expectations, and of course, misleading free consultation claims without clear terms. Okay, the citation is there. If you guys want to have a look, you can have a look. Okay, so just to weave in some fun story. I too was a participant of Singapore's judicial processes, and I sort of use AI as well, just to add on to today's theme. Okay? And this is coming from someone that is not legally trained and from a layman's perspective. So my personal story is that, fortunately or unfortunately, I found myself in a position where I had to somewhat self-litigate. Okay? And I was using ChatGPT-4 in my court submissions, and mind you, I'm not legally trained at all. I have a law degree coming from zero. So what was very, very helpful for me was, after I wrote out my claims and stuff, I used ChatGPT to actually help me with the legal phrasing. Of course, I don't ask it to write the whole argument by itself, But more of the phrasing, the grammar, and certain legal terms that I'm not trained to write in such a way lah. Okay, and of course, for me, I had to go into the state court website and then submit, and then there's a lot of summaries and all of that. I use AI to help me summarize as well. Okay, so this was how I use AI as a self-litigant who is not legally trained, and it was actually quite an eye-opening experience for me. And the outcome was favorable lah, in my opinion. Okay. So my bigger point here is the introduction of AI allows somewhat of a direct access to the legal system. And I think if we've read recently, there's a rise in self-litigants, people using ChatGPT to fight their cases and all this. And the big question is, can law firms and lawyers compete or rather leverage on AI? You don't want to be competing against AI, but you want to leverage on AI. And some of the ideas I have, and I will show you guys how to actually mold this with digital marketing in the next few slides. But using AI to better paperwork workflows, clearly demonstrating the value add of hiring or having a lawyer instead of just relying on AI or self-litigation, and staying competitive against substitutes by using digital marketing to make legal help more affordable, right? Having more access, passing off the cost to the consumer. Okay. So one way that I think that this AI theme can be molded with digital marketing is this. Okay. Firstly, you can rank for the keyword letter of demand Singapore through SEO or pay-per-click. You can start purchasing this keyword immediately to attract high intent clients searching for legal assistance. And then you can automate the customer intake through placeholders where people just put in information and use online forms and submission platforms to collect all necessary details that you require. Have a proper UI UX and a front-end experience where you can do all of this. And of course, as I've mentioned, many people just ignore this part, right? You have to make your website user-friendly for someone to be able to do this and trust someone without speaking to someone in person, right? That's the whole value add of it. You don't have to put your time in, okay? And lo and behold, right, there is already a search demand for this keyword letter of demand Singapore. It's 100 to 1K. And imagine if you can just get maybe 20 clients or 30 clients from this 100 to 1K demand per month and have it on somewhat of an automation, right? How much can you compete in such sense, okay? And then streamline the document creation with AI, leverage AI-powered drafting tools and pre-designed templates to generate legal documents efficiently, minimizing manual effort and labor costs. Of course, I think we will always have a human check lah, but when you use AI, you can actually remove a lot of the manual labor or the drafting process, in my opinion lah. Okay, and then you can deliver it without actually having the need to consult, to have in-person meets, the to and fro, and scale this process, right? If it works for one client, why not spend more next month, acquire more clients, refine the process, somewhat like McDonald's, just optimize the process. Okay. And lastly, as I've mentioned, scale by driving more traffic. And how do we do that? Through digital marketing, as I mentioned. Target other keywords, increase the bids, invest in SEO, diversify your lead sources, and find other push channels such as Facebook or YouTube. Then the step 6 is, how can I do this for other services, right? I've just shown one example, letter of demand. I'm not legally trained. I'm pretty sure there are many other use cases. Okay, so with that, I come to the end of my presentation. I don't know if there's time, or I think I'll go short a bit. But anyway, you can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and that's my website. Thank you very much.